Dear AWID members, partners, and allies, for many of us, 2020 was an especially challenging year due to the global health pandemic. Feminists and activists rose to the new challenges, meeting community needs in innovative ways. Here are 5 highlights of how AWID contributed to feminist co-creation and resistance.
COVID-19 has laid bare the multiple failures of the dominant economic model. Learning from history, we knew we'd have to raise our voices and call for a feminist bailout, highlighting the need to prioritize economic recovery plans that are people and environment-centered. In June, we launched an online action week generating huge engagement from feminists around the world, from former parliamentarians and heads of UN agencies to grassroots feminist organizations taking up demands in Haiti, Thailand, Kenya, and Algeria. In Nairobi, women working in the informal economy took to the streets to demand a feminist bailout. In Haiti, Marie-Jeanne Young Feminist Organization issued a call to action and statement to the government, demanding a broad-based feminist response to COVID, using their own hashtag. At the same time, African feminists have written a letter to African Union special envoys demanding a feminist economic recovery, pulling over 300 signatures in 1 week. Building on the global success of the Action Week, we developed a manifesto, from a feminist bailout to a feminist economic recovery, combining demands from feminist and social movements with 5 principles and 10 actions for a feminist post-COVID recovery. We developed a 10-point manifesto that brought together the demands of feminist and social movements engaged in the Global Action Week.
We've challenged anti-rights actors and advanced feminist narratives in the changing world and digital reality of 2020. At the start of the year, we charted new waters, engaging digital activists to strengthen work to counter anti-rights narratives online. Influencing for Good, convened with Oxfam's Enough campaign and the Association for Progressive Communications, was a first-of-its-kind convening, bridging the worlds of online influencing, feminist tech analysis, and counter-narratives campaigning. We didn't know then that it would be our last in-person convening as the COVID pandemic hit. As the world around us changed, we reacted to the political impacts of the COVID-19 crisis. In May 2020, we came together with TNI and other allies for a vital conversation on feminist realities, transforming democracy in times of crisis. As we monitored closely the attempts of conservative anti-rights forces to capitalize on the crisis, we kept space to dream and build our feminist realities that celebrate gender and sexual diversity and freedom.
Almost 20 years ago, AWID started asking, where's the money for women's rights and feminist organizing? These days, we're digging more deeply into the how money moves. With Mama Cash, we released new research into the concrete practices that overcome the stumbling blocks too many large funders use as excuses not to support feminist organizations directly. We took the opportunity to organize extensive movement consultations to produce recommendations for the new Equality Fund, which launched with 300 million Canadian dollars from the Canadian government. Over 1,000 feminist activists and organizers from at least 66 countries participated. The resulting recommendations have relevance for any funder seeking to meaningfully engage and support feminist movements.
Even as we realized we would not be able to proceed with the AWID Forum, we were also hearing the thirst for connection and exchange amid a pandemic that forced most of us into physical isolation. Tapping some of the incredible content that feminists had proposed for the forum, AWID co-organized with Movements a series of online curated conversations where hundreds of feminist activists from over 60 countries connected to have meaningful dialogue and co-create around the many ways of bringing feminism to practice. Together with feminist movements, we named and claimed the numerous and powerful ways feminist movements fuel social change with our own resources. We explored strategies to challenge criminalization, resist stigmas, and build collective freedoms for all. We collectively learned from the practices of transformative justice, harm reduction, and abolition that activists embody in their work and everyday lives. We centered queer voices on feminist principles for organizing amidst COVID-19, cyclones, and climate crisis. If you missed them, or if you just want to relive them, dive in and explore our curated conversations.
We close the year with an inspiring and colorful gift, the Feminist Realities magazine. We wanted to reflect feminist culture, identity, and politics to the world, profiling feminist activists from all over the world who are contributing to what we at AWID call feminist realities, stories and experiences of powerful feminist work that orient us towards a vision of what is possible. In May, we launched the call out for pieces, reflections, artwork, poetry, and received over 450 submissions from 150 countries. Making the final selection was an incredibly challenging task, but the result was 120 pages packed with a diverse spread of concerns, context, knowledges, and creativity, each piece intimate and insightful in its own unique way. In the words of Yewande Omotoso, the magazine editor, we invite you to be inspired by the stories, the images. Feel the soft intimacy of these accounts and depictions and allow yourself to be filled up and sustained by them. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. With generous support and partnerships from our members, partners, and funders, we were able to make these contributions in the world. If you're not already, become an AWID member and join a constellation of women's rights and feminist organizations, communities, networks, and activists who dedicate themselves to building a better world. Join us at awid.org.